today, Senior Executive President's Team 40K, Bill Garvey. Bill, are you on?
Come on, Ramses. Guys, welcome to Monday Motivational. I am so honored and blessed to be here with all you guys. Guys, what an incredible year, we've had in Herbalife, and just look at where we are. I mean, we are literally halfway through the month in August, and, just looking at all of our businesses and everything that we've done in this year. I'm just excited, just add some fuel to the fire of, where we are as a company, where we are as a people and everything right now, right? So first and foremost, guys, me and my beautiful wife got started in this business close to 8 years ago now. I think in like September, we hit our 8-year mark. And it's just been a journey, right? And I just want to kind of share with you guys just a couple of things today, a couple stories, a couple teaching points. And, I love getting to be with the TAB team and the leaders because I really feel like I can be a little bit more me, a little bit more rough, but a little bit, but loving at the same time, right? And you guys have been around me know, like I can be, I'm very forward, you know what I mean? But I back it up, with love. And it's because I want to see the best for you, right? So I want to share a story, right? So back when I was 19 years old, okay, I joined the military when I was 19, came into the Coast Guard, and I was very, very grateful, okay, that I even got a chance to be in the military because growing up in high school, I was a troubled youth. I got arrested a couple of times. I had kind of a real colorful past. Couple of charges against me. The only reason I even got in the military, all right, was because of 9/11, and they were less strict on letting people in, right? So I'm 19 years old. I'm in the military. I always wanted to be in the Coast Guard, and I was so grateful to even be there. And I'll never forget any of you guys, military people out there, that first experience, okay, when you get off the bus at whatever your training center is, and the guys are screaming at you, yelling at you to get on the line, and you know what I mean, like, and they're just yelling and all this different stuff, and I'm not gonna like act it out and stuff, right? And these guys are screaming at us, and they have us all shuffling, grabbing our bags, and it's chaotic, and they have us run up into this hall, and they sit, and they're going to bring out the head CC, the guy, company commander, the guy that's going to be, in charge of you for basically the next 8 weeks. And guys, like, we had like the most intimidating person you've ever seen in your entire life, right? I mean, this guy was like 250 pounds, solid muscle. He comes in with the company commander hat with the brim down, so you can't even see his eyes. And I'll never forget, they yell, attention on deck, everyone like stands up. And this guy comes in, right? And he lifts his head back just so you can see his eyes, just like a little bit. And he just says to us, he goes, "I'm going to be in charge of you for the next 8 weeks." He goes, "But I have one thing to ask you before we get started." And we're so intimidated at this point, like we're just like listening to him. And I'll never forget the question he asked us. He goes, "I want to know right now," he goes, "do you guys think I'm a leader?" He goes, "If you think I'm a leader, put your hand up." So of course, every person, we're not stupid, raises our hand straight up in the air and thinks that, this guy is a leader, right? And then he says, "Good, put your hand down." And then he looks at us again, and he goes, "How many of you think I'm a follower?" And not many people raise their hands, maybe like 2 or 3. And I'm like, this dude is definitely not a follower. Like this guy, Like this guy is the boss, right? And so probably only 3 or 4 people in the whole room out of like 100 of us raised their hand. And he said, "Put your hand down." He said, "I'm here to tell you guys right now." He said, "I am a leader and I am a follower. And as long as you're in the United States military and you're in my military," he goes, "you will continue to do the same." And why I tell you guys that story, right, is because some of us, we reach levels in this business where we think, okay, that you are the leader or that you are the person that, has all the answers or has figured everything out or, and you just systemize this one-way approach into this business that has created epic success for you. And I'm here to tell you, okay, not so much as speaking at you, but speaking with you, okay, that like, I'm so blessed, Ramses. Yes, we were talking about, the new promotion that we just hit, right? Like, 40K Senior Executive President's Team. Like, guys, I feel brand new, right? Like me and my wife, like every single day, like we're doing something to learn. We're doing something to grow. We're always asking questions. We're always trying to, elevate our skills and get to the next point. We're always trying to get better. The day after we hit 40K President's Team, I reached out to, and I'll say a lot of people's names just because it makes it real. And I'm showing you like, this is how our journey's been. The day after we hit 40K President's Team, I reached out to Hunter and Eden Wallace because they had just made 50K, okay? And about half of the time that it took us, to get to 40K, I wanted to learn what they were doing. I wanted to hear from other leaders. I wanted to grow my mindset in a completely new way because we wanted to add new skills to the thing. Here we are as 40K President's team members walking into our very first nutrition club that we own because we want to grow and continue to grow into the future, not being satisfied with the success that we've had, but pushing ourselves and getting uncomfortable to moving forward. And I'm here to tell you guys right now, as some of you leaders on this call, okay, from all over North America, all right, some of you haven't been following in a very long time. And like I said, I don't say that, like with condemnation, but I say it with conviction because you're in a game that's constantly changing. It's fluid. There's things that are constantly adapting. There's things that happen on even Instagram that are outside of our control. And then we have to learn a new method. And then something happens and we have to learn a new method. Guys, there are so many things that we can't control, but what can we control? We can control ourselves. Okay, we know that the marketing plan isn't going to change. We know that if we continue to recruit and continue to build solid people, that, our teams are going to grow and things are going to continue to go in the new direction. But just like Mark Hughes said, right, it's our job as leaders to understand the entire menu. So that way, when you go before your teams, you can show them, hey guys, this is something that I just learned. Maybe it's nothing that I've done, but hey, it's something that I've seen really work for this team. Are you interested in it? So as I say that, right, I want you guys to realize this, okay? And it's a funny story, and I've shared this a lot, when we've been out, training in different places, right? But I'll never forget this because it's just such a funny story, right? It was when we made Millionaire Team, and we're out there in Boston STS, and we are pumped up. We are excited. The crowd is behind us and into us, right? I mean, you guys know the energy of the events. And our parents are there for the very first time in this room. And our sponsors, Tommy and Sandy Joseph, flew all the way up from Florida to be there with us because they were so proud of us. And guys, you guys know the feeling, right? Most of you have all been in a room. Maybe some of you tab team have not. But you're in this room and you're super excited. You're super jacked up. Mom and dad are out there for the first time. And, we go up there. We do our Mill Team speech. Everybody's going crazy and all this stuff. And as soon as I get off the stage, my sponsor, Sandy, is sitting there and she's looking at me and she's got this smile on her face. Now, guys, I am 36 years old. Okay, I was born in January of 1984. Sandy joined this business, I believe, in May of 1984. So that means she's been doing Herbalife for almost my entire life. All right, so she knows a little bit more wisdom in the ages, we'll say, than I do, but I do, pride myself on being a sponge and trying to get as much, from these legends above us as possible, because there's some things that just never change in this business, right? And she looks at me with this little smile on her face and she lets me sit down and get settled in. And she said, Bill, she said, was that fun? And I said, yeah, it was. She goes, it looks it. She goes, you know what I mean? She goes, are you happy? I go, I'm super happy. She goes, can I tell you a secret? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And she leans over and whispers in my ear and she says, you have not arrived. Get back to work. And it was like the coldest glass of water on my face that I needed in that season. And I swear, I can get off this call right now and Sandy, you can call me back up again right now and say, hey, Bill, you're 40K. You haven't arrived. Get back to work. Because you know what? Because as people, we need that. Because let me tell you in this business, all right, it doesn't matter if you're Get Team or your Chairman's Club, all right? And I love you, Chairman's Club, and I have so much respect and admiration for you guys. But listen, we haven't arrived. There is more to learn, okay? There is more to give. There is more to do. There's more people out there. There's newer people that need you, that need your leadership, and they need you at 100, okay? We don't need who you were 5 years ago. We don't need who you were 10 years ago. We need you to be the best that you are going to be in 2020, and I'm going to address that here in a little bit, all right? So that's my first little note card that I have, all right? Second, okay? 2020, man, what a year, right? I'll never forget when 2020 began. I put on my Facebook thing, I said, 2020, the year to ridiculously bless others. And now I sit back, holy smokes, 8 months into this year, and I'm thinking, man, how true is that statement, right? But let's just go through just a year, just like a snapshot, right? Has fear hit any of you guys? Like, I mean, honestly, like in any regard, I just want you to think about like your entire year. Like, have you felt it? Whether it was through COVID, whether it was through your business, whether it was through you felt like you were going to get sick, whether or not people on your team began to fall away, whatever it looked like. Okay. I'm here to tell you right now, like if you felt fear in any regard, all right, you needed that. You needed that as a part of your test. Like you needed this test this year to begin to mold you and begin to solidify who you are going to be as a leader forever. Okay, because I don't know about you, but like my plan is to do this forever, right? Like you know what I mean? Like, people have different whys and like different things. Like a big part of my why is like, I want to see people win. I want to see the people on my team win. I want to see the people on your teams win. I want to see corporate win. I want to see Herbalife all over the world win. That's what like I'm motivated by, right? And people are motivated by progress. Like when you look at it, right? So when you look at this year, okay, you only need to say to yourself, like, I needed this. I needed this test. I needed to feel that. I needed to go through that. I needed to be able to process that as a leader and, and go through this with my organization and lead them and provide inspiration in this type of way because it's going to yield a certain type of results. But I will say this, fear is not going to help you win any battles. So if you felt it, it's okay because we have all felt it. My point is you cannot stay in it. You cannot stay in a place of fear. You cannot operate in a place of fear. You cannot live your life in fear. My wife has said this time and time again. She said, you can have fear or you can have faith, but you cannot have both. And it's always been like one of my favorite sayings because it's so empowering because faith requires you to believe in an expected result. Fear is demanding you to believe in a result. So both are fighting for your attention and your mindsets, but one is going to produce something, okay, in your life, and one is going to paralyze you and grip you and keep you from moving forward. So I don't care what has happened this year. I don't care what gets thrown at us. I don't care what it looks like. I know that we have to choose faith over fear if we're going to continue to move forward, okay, as a company and as North America to dominate and be what we're called to be. And I'll come back and touch on that, all right? So with that being said, right, is my team always laughs at me. And God Glow, you're probably on the call right now, and I don't know the Spanish word for it, but she calls me the Spanish word, and I don't know the name for it, and I laughed, and I said, what does it mean? She goes, Bill, it means you like punishment. And I said, what does that mean? She goes, no, seriously, like you legit like punishment. And what she's saying is like, guys, every time there is controversy on our team, anytime something goes wrong, anytime something happens, there's a personality issue, like we call it like the fire, like I'm going to run into the fire. If somebody is offended with something, like we're going to run into the fire. We're going to address this thing because I don't want little foxes breaking up the team. Oh, somebody just wrote it. That is exactly the word. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to slay it, but yes, that is the word right there. So the M word that's in the chat is you know what I mean? Like, so the question I want to ask you guys, okay, is are you running into the fire inside of your organizations, inside of your team? Because I've begun to see this little saying that's like, well, and again, I'm not calling anybody out because I've seen this in a lot of different people and I've seen it on timeline. So if you posted this, do not be offended with me, please. But I see it's like, I don't have time, you know what I mean, for drama like in my life. So if you bring drama, I'm just going to be over here. And the thing is like, listen, like you work in a people business. Like you are surrounded by drama, like no matter what. Like I wish we all had perfect organizations and nobody fought and nobody had issues and nothing happened. But guys, the moral of the story is that's not the world we live in, right? You know what I mean? We have personalities that are like, holy smokes, we have a huge Latino team. We have a huge Black team. We have a huge white team. We have a lot of people that are older. We have people that are super young. We have everybody on our team. Guys, guess what? They don't think the same. They don't act the same. They don't, you know what I mean? Everything is different, and that's okay, right? You know what I mean? They have different political beliefs. That's okay. But guess what, guys? We're not paid, okay, for political issues. We're not paid for social issues. You are paid to bring people into Herbalife, as Mark Hughes taught us. We are paid to teach them the marketing plan. We are teach them to become successful distributors and help them move up the marketing plan and hopefully put some money in their family's pockets. That's what you get paid to do. So guess what? Guys, I have stronger opinions than probably 99% of the people on this call. But guess what? I don't get paid on any of them. So you know what I do? I keep my mouth shut. And you know what? Herbalife pays me a lot of money to keep my mouth shut. And you know what? I'm okay with that, because go back to what I said. What motivates me? What motivates me is seeing people win. All people, not a certain class of people, not a certain thing. Like, I want everybody to win, right? So with that being said, you know what I mean? Like, if you run into the fire enough on your team, I promise you, you are going to change the culture of your entire organization. If you do not try to hide behind problems, but you try to help people process and you try to help people go through it and grow through it, you are going to develop a completely different culture on your team, right? So the next thing I want to talk about, number 3, Mark Hughes. I was watching a video the other day, and he was talking about how do you inspire people? All right, and some of you may have seen this clip or some of you may not, right? But as Mark was saying it, he just said, man, he said, I just kept going. He said, you know what I mean? Like, I could have stopped. I could have done other things. But the most powerful thing that I did was I just kept going. And my group noticed that. And he said, you know what? In the beginning, nobody had seen the condos, you know what I mean, that he was living in. Nobody had seen the cars. Nobody had seen the velvet jackets. Like, Mark, everything he did was groundbreaking for all of us to walk into this company. But because he kept going, he was saying that was how you inspire people, is for you to keep going. So whatever that looks like, right? And, and I had one time, it was me and my wife's 3rd cut of President's Team. And I'll never forget, we were ahead in the cut. This is an awesome story. And Brad Harris was doing our call, and it was the second to last week. And Brad said, man, he goes, Bill, what do you want me to talk about? And I said, Mark, I said, if you want to talk about Mark, that would be great. I said, Brad, we're a little bit ahead on the cut. I said, so if you want to just tell us stories, I said, that would be awesome. And he said, yeah. He goes, man, he goes, actually, I have this great slideshow I can do with you and your guys, and I think you'll like it a lot. So Brad did our call. It was the second to last week of our 3rd cut of President's Team. And he did this slideshow all about Mark Hughes. And I've always heard, if any of you guys have been around the guys that have been in for 30, 40 years, right? I mean, they can't even say Mark Hughes without, like, you know what I mean? Like, their eyes like tearing up. It's like the man still lives inside of them, right? And some of us, like the younger generation, like, we have YouTube. We have, you know what I mean, the special sections that we've done at LDWs and extravaganzas to relive the moments and hear the different people tell these stories. But, like, we have to live vicariously through. But, like, I could feel the emotion that all these guys had. So when Brad did this presentation, okay, he went through this whole thing and he showed us all these different things that Mark Hughes had done and the qualifications that he had done and all the different things. And as I'm sitting there, it dawned on me, the revelation hit me like halfway through this presentation. Brad said, he goes, Bill, he goes, he always wanted to give people the things that he knew they would never experience outside of Herbalife. And when he said that, and he shared this story about him and Pam, and I don't have time to share the whole story, and it's his story, but it was just a story of the short version is, like, they were on a boat and they were in this, like, beautiful, like, dinner party, and their son, like, ran out to come see Pam, his wife, and he ran into, like, the dinner party, and they got, like, embarrassed, like, we got to bring him out. And Mark says, no, don't worry, he can stay. And Mark scooped the kid up, right, and put the kid on his lap, and he goes, hey, buddy, he goes, do you like chocolate cake? And the kid goes, I love chocolate cake. And he goes, oh, that's unbelievable. He goes, buddy, I'm going to get you the biggest piece of chocolate cake. And he sat the kid on his lap, and he sat there and fed, Brad and Pam's kid chocolate cake. And Brad goes, Bill, I saw the look on my wife's face. He goes, and I knew in that moment, he goes, man, he had her forever. And when I heard that, it was like my spirit, like, exploded. I'm like, dude, this is it. Like, this is the reason why this man had such a powerful impact on people's lives from 30 years ago, is because it was like situations like this. Like, he was just constantly doing things for people. And Brad said, he goes, no matter what he did, he goes, he would always sit on the other side of the entrance and he would watch people walk in and he would look at their eyes as they come in and he would want to see, you know what I mean? Like how they reacted and how they responded. And I'm like, oh man, like, dude, like ruined me. I'm like, this is so good. Like it all makes sense now. Like, literally like everything that I've ever heard from anybody that shared a Mark Hughes story, I'm like, this is it. Like the guy was like, dude, he did everything and he took care of people and he loved people and he just wanted us, all of us, to experience things that we would never get to experience, right? And those are the types of things that as leaders in our organization, we should be attempting to carry forward from generation to generation. So when I say that, okay, and when Mark says to just keep going, I want you to kind of think about this for a second as we begin to reset our standards as leaders in North America, okay? And I know the first thing we all think is like personal volume, right? Now, personal volume is great, all right? But guys, to me, like, it's important, right? It is important because I'm just going to say it, whether you realize it or not, like, dude, your team judges you, right? And you know what I mean? And if they're putting up, 10, 15, 20,000 points, and you're putting up like 2,500 to collect your bonus, like they can probably feel that. Like they can just feel you probably have like a 2,500 volume point, like energy about you, right? So it's like, and for me and my wife, it's one of the reasons we're going back into a club because I'm not comfortable unless we're doing over 10,000 volume points a month, preferably 20,000. Now, I know there's some of you guys that are doing ridiculous numbers, even above that. But the point is, like, listen, your team, we're human beings. We judge people. We look at people. We look at their performance. We see what they do. And when the leader starts to slack, the org is going to start to slack. I mean, it's perpetual. You can't get away from it. So, of course, I'm going to put that number one as we reset our standards. Number two, contribution, right? Dan Waldron stood on stage at Future Press Team Retreat. Guys, it was one of the last corporate events that we got to do. And he basically called everybody out in that room about doing STSs around the country. And I was just like, you know what I mean? Like, and again, there's a lot of stories I could share, but I'm sure, you know what I mean, it would rub some people the wrong way. Like, again, I'm not calling anybody out, but like, listen, like, dude, we need each other in this game. We need each other, right? Like you can only take your organization so far. You can only speak to them so many times. You can only say so much before all of a sudden, every time you open your mouth, you're like, wah, 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 wah. That's what they're going to hear because you've been the person speaking to them and teaching them and doing everything for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Forget about it. They're past you, right? You are no longer the hero. You can't be the hero anymore. You have to bring in new heroes. You have to bring in new people to speak to them. So when I ask you guys, you know what I mean, what is the level of contribution, even if we're virtual, okay, that we're going to sow into each other and into each other's organizations to help us fuel into, okay, the rest of this year in 2021 and 2022 and all of those things. Like, what level are you going to bring? All right. And the third thing I want to bring up is character. And guys, I could sit on this one for 45 minutes. I could talk about character, okay? But I just want to say, you know what I mean? Like, you have got to think about these things, okay, that destroy your business, okay? And I'm not even going to go into all of them. You can use your imagination for some of them, okay? But like anything that is lacking integrity, anything that is lacking moral decay, anything that, you know what I mean, is going to cause a disruption in your organization has no business being in your organization. Get it out of your organization. Okay, so you can move forward into the country. All right, last thing I want to talk about, okay? Who are you right now? Okay, and who do you want to be? Because that's probably the biggest question that you can ask yourself. All right, now I had a whole story that I want to share with you guys, but I want to close and I want to be on time and do my part. But I want you guys to ask yourselves that question as we're getting off this call, okay? Is who do you want to be as a leader to your organization for the rest of this year? And I'm just going to share with you guys just a couple things that motivate me, and a couple of the things because I feel as though, you know what I mean, it's going to speak into some of you guys and I'm, hopefully some of you guys feel the same exact way. Okay, but I just wrote down a couple of things that were inside of me. I said, I want to be someone who awakens a sleeping generation. I want to be somebody who breaks complacency and comfort zones. I want to be someone who sees miracles every day in my life and the people around me. I want to be there to strengthen and encourage a generation during its darkest hours. Guys, we are living in a time where our country is just doing some crazy, crazy things. Okay. But I know this is my part, because I know in the midst of chaos, okay, there are people that need hope. And I know that I want to do my part to be one of the people there, one of the leaders on, there's 1,760 people on this call right now. What if 1,700 people took up this call and actually understood that, man, I have the power to be a leader in my community. I have the power to transform lives around me because you guys are positioned in places that I'm not. You know what I mean? And there are people that only you can touch in your life that I can't. So what if every single one of us became filled, okay, with these types of statements over your life, and you actually began to do things where you began to live that out, and that actually became a living and breathing reality inside of your life? What would Herbalife look like? As the country is in chaos, Herbalife is there providing hope, providing a future, providing people who came from broken neighborhoods and broken situations, but found you. And you were the one that transformed their lives. What would that look like? What if you could be that Mark Hughes and give those people those types of things in their lives and those different things? So that's my question to you is, are you willing to lead North America into the fire? Or do you want to just collect a check? All right. And Alyssa, I see you on there right now. But I just want to share one thing just in closing, because this got sent to me the other day from the woman that I see on the screen, and I just thought it was good. So if you just think that this is me, okay. I mean, this is me, right? This is what's inside of me, okay? But this was a letter from Mark Hughes, okay, back in 1993 to all of us, and this was just a closing statement. Together we are active in the pursuit of the extraordinary. We must rise above the voices that would limit us and who would steal away our dreams, who cannot allow ourselves to become unduly influenced by our critics. We must focus our attention on our own opportunity that we share. We must adopt a philosophy that suggests that the worst in us must die so that the best in us must live. After all, this business is not just about the money, it is about the lifestyle and development of our human virtues that should seize our attention and our imagination. If we become more, we will earn more. I believe this is a concept worth pursuing. I want to thank each and every one of you for your efforts, for continuing to support, and for your belief in that the values that we share are worth defending, worth preserving, and worthy of the investment of our time, our talent, and our attention. Sincerely, Mark Hughes. So maybe it's not just me. Maybe Mark Hughes can live on through each and every single one of us. And maybe this will be the year that we actually hit 10 billion. So guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you got value out of this call. I hope that you take up this assignment that I'm giving to all of you guys to be more so we can accomplish more and we can do more collectively together inside of this thing. So that 2020, we are not done, but we are merely just getting started. So with that being said, guys, I have the honor and the privilege of just saying I love you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys. And next week, a very, very powerful woman that is extremely near and dear to my heart is going to be on here leading your Monday motivational call. Alyssa, is there a flyer or do I just shout it out?
Go right ahead.
Go right ahead. All right, guys. So this couple transformed our lives. They taught us nutrition clubs. They gave us the blueprint, man. They gave so much to us, and we are just forever gratitude for this couple. We love who they are. So we are super excited to announce that next week's call, mark your calendar right now, 30K Senior Executive President's Team member Nicole Breeden will be on this call with all of you guys. And guys, I am fired up.